Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Biblical Britain Uncoded. Welcome to any new subscribers. Anybody who hasn't subscribed, it's actually free. I always thought the word subscribe meant you had to pay for it, but I learned that a few years ago, and no, it doesn't. It's all obviously all free. If you could give me this video a like as well. Right, I say it again every time I say this. Absolutely astonishing what I've discovered. It's about to be one of these codes pretty much explains as well, if you like, my ability to be able to do this so quickly. And this is actually take two. On saying that, I best speed this up because I've got so much code to show you, and if I make these videos too long, which I've already done once, and I had to start doing it, well, basically this is the second attempt, so hopefully if you're getting this, then touch wood, it's worked, or hopefully, yeah, we'll ensure this one works. On saying that, I wasn't comfortable completely with the first one, so, right, okay, what I've got to say first is, I'm about to reveal something that is absolutely, I don't even know really how to word it. I don't want to get into too much waffle. The one thing with this code, it's basically, for anyone new, it's an atlas matrix. Atlas is an anagram of a last. You break the matrix, right, it's basically, matrix is missing a P. The centre of the matrix is on Solomon's Temple, a temple that is actually in South Wales, in the UK. They're supposed to be Roman, basically, but it is, well, obviously everything has been hidden. It's the resting place of the Ark, the Covenant, the literal Ark is underneath it. I've decoded that as well in previous videos, along with a ton of other stuff. And also the fact that the walled city around this temple, it's kind of Roman name, which is all coded anyway, is Ventus Ilurum. But there'll be more on this, but it is in fact the real Jerusalem. And I say Jerusalem, and I emphasise the G because it is with a G. It's named after the constellation Jerus, which you're going to see quite a bit on just shortly. Right, okay. Right, just bear me 2 seconds, folks. Okay, folks, right, firstly, I'm going to, bear with me a second, I'm going to start off with the actual map, and the place we're going to start off today, a place I didn't expect to be looking in part, well, not so much, right, in Wales, there's a place called, well, on the map of Britain, if you see this is Wales, and then you've got England, etc., right, okay, then what you have is an island called Holyhead. And as you can see, it represents literally a head. You've got your mouth, you've got your nose. What you've got is this kind of piece off the top of the forehead type thing, or the top of the head. And this is where Holyhead is. Okay, right. Now, obviously, if there was ever a helmet of salvation, I think this is actually the helmet. I think this is what it's meant to represent as well. Okay, right. The island is called Anglesey, and this is the place called Anglesey. I'm hoping you can see this. It's not right. Nobody pings up, but as you can see, there's a place called Anglesey. I'm a little lower on it, but let me just make a few adjustments. Bear with me, folks. Where's it gone? Right, but effectively, what you have is Anglesey is literally on the temple. I've moved this line down a bit so we can read some of the lines that connect to it. But the whole island is actually called Anglesey. But there is a place right by there, and if you notice its position, it's on the temple. Now the second place, the places that connect to this is this Llanfaeliog. I can't even pronounce most of these, so forgive me if you're Welsh. I'm Welsh as well, but obviously the people that live up this area will be able to pronounce these better than me. But this actually connects as well. In fact, let me just make a line to here. And this is highlighting for want of a better well, it's not a very good picture of it, but what you effectively have is the eye. Okay, the eye of the Holyhead, the eye of Holyhead, or the of Anglesey, is looking at something. And what it looks at is quite extraordinary, along with the code that I'm about to show you. Now, the point I would make with this, like I've always said, that I don't know how, but I connect to the creator, or his plan at least. I'm not sure, but it's through the what's called the tetragram that's done, actually decodes as remote anagram TT, which is a time trigger. I've explained all this in previous videos, and obviously in depth, so it's not that I'm kind of making this up. Right, what effectively happened is, on my way to work, into my head, and this is how this whole thing works when I channel in English, or is it like I have an English channel, which is going to become apparent when on another code, which kind of explains how what happens and what I'm able to do because of it in a later code. But basically the word Mersey came into my head from out of nowhere. Now, this is not normally a place that I would look for, I would look for code. Most of it is centred around Mon. Bear in mind that Anglesey is also the Isle of Mon as well, which is quite interesting and probably sure by design. But what I basically, initially, I got the River Mersey and the River Dee, and they were the first bit that really triggered off this code. I knew the code behind Anglesey is Angel Yes. And then, basically it allowed me to start connecting these pieces together. Then all I've done is taken the places along the way, Conwy, Abergele, or whatever it is. Forgive me if you're Welsh. This line isn't completely on target because I've literally moved it to try to show the places. There we go. There's one. If I move it there, that's more like it. I know Parkgate and Hooton. Right, you've got Hooton, Parkgate, River Dee, I'm just picking the ones. Abergele, Lisvine, Conwy. Basically, I'll show you the list of places now that this line crosses, and then comes to Anglesey, and then literally, you pinpoint the eye. But I didn't stop there. I want to see where the eye was looking. Well, to my astonishment, it actually lines up with a previous. I'll show you the entire code shortly, but it lines up with a previous matrix, the matrix with a P, sort of coordinate that I'd previously done. Now, it's written. There's a code written in Taurus, which I will show you, which says in the stars of Taurus, which says something about you ran Guyana map and Mel that I hid in Branna lead, I think it says. Okay, again, I'll show you all the stars and everything that make up that statement. But the place that this eye is looking just happens to be called Marco. This is in South America. Now, why South America? Right, now, as you'll note, there's a place called Bellum right by here, which is B Mel, and this is the Mel, and the Taurus constellation tells you that you ran Guyana map. I've already run this Guyana map previously to find in the Taurus code, but it says you ran Guyana map and Mel that I hid in. Okay, well, the Guyana map, is basically a mapped out, which I'll show you all the coordinates and the incredible codes in it. But this is a map. It starts off, basically, if you look at, let me just show you what this is first. For anyone that hasn't seen this is the constellation of G-Roos the Crane. Now, it's obviously at a different angle, but when you overlay these stars onto the map, hold on, let me get you on. I'm trying to get it all in so I can show you. Right, what you have, effectively, the four brightest stars are countries. what you have is Guyana, Suriname, Raw Army, and a mapper. And when you unscrabble it, it actually says Anagai, surname I, Raw I am, a mapper. Obviously, I'm mapping out things. This is what the Atlas Matrix is all about. He gives me coordinates, channels it in English. I go to the coordinates, and like I say, it sounds incredible, but it really happens. And as you're going to see, I'm going to chase all over the world with this, showing you, which is making it more impossible that these codes should, are there and how they connect as well to a recent event. Not this one, one of the next ones. Okay. Right, then you've got a bright star here. This one is Fortaleza, which says, in its own right, it says, right, if I start here, it says, this is Bimel, and the Marco is just above it. So it's Marco Bimel. This is Sao Luis, which says, So Asilu. Asilu is a Siluri with the real Israelites. The Siluris are the people at the fort Kaiwen, which is named after, the real name of it is Jerusalem, named after the constellation Gerus. Okay. The second fort is Melin, and you reverse the Mel, you get the Lem, and you put the two together, you get Jerusalem, basically. And this is how partly how you decode it. Okay, so it says Marco Bimel, Soasilu, Sela Fort. Okay, and then it says Anagai, surname I, Raw Emma Mapper. And this one here is Guyana City. Now, Guyana City is spelled differently to Guyana, so it's and when you unscrabble it, and I say, you anagram it, it says a guy and a city. Well, I'm the guy, so obviously my surname, and the city is Jerusalem. So you've got literal code written in it, but there is another code written into the place names as well that I've discovered along the way. Okay, so just to come back, where are we? Angle C. Okay, so this I follows literally across the Atlantic Ocean, which actually has a code in it as well. Which I'll explain all now. This also represents the eye of providence, which if anyone knows, and I'll explain this better, is the eye of provide evidence, which gives you Eve's ID. Well, Eve's ID is in the Fort Jerusalem. Okay, again, I'll explain more now. Okay, so without further ado on this one, I think that's all on this first map. Incidentally as well, I can connect this to the Gwynedd Zodiac, which is one of the pillars of Solomon, has a zodiac on it. And what it represents is in let me just pull you back, right, hang on, let me just get you centre. Okay, in this area of Gwynedd is the oldest star constellation map in the world. If you Google the Gwynedd Zodiac, a guy called Hugh Evans has literally uncoded it. Now, if I run a line through to Cadra Idris, which is the centre of it, because that's a code as well, I don't want to get into that right now, but literally, then you run it down through there, down to the ship. There's a code in that line that goes through the constellation of Cancer, or Cancer is literally dancing on the line. And then the three places that it connects to down here on the side of the ship, that's encoded into the map and drawn in the map that I've previously done, actually says it's made up of, where are we, Crick, where are we, somewhere in here. It's made up from, Crick, Sudbrook and Port Skewett, and what it says is Trixie, which is the Trixie, which we'll get into as well as we go, which goes into King Solomon's temple, and then you drop the Trixie in there, unscrabble it, says so locking Mon's temple. Well, the temple in question is the temple in Monmouthshire, Mon's temple, and the kingdom of Solomon, or decoded kingdom of Solomon. There, right, these are the three places: Crick, Port Skewett and Sudbrook. You draw a line through there, it actually goes down to Temple Meads as well. I won't get into that, but that also connects to it as well, or connected up to the ship and all the code that I've done. Which is going to be complex for anyone who hasn't, but bear with me and stick with it. And once you've seen this one, well, this one speaks volumes really. Okay, again, what I'm going to say is what I'm about to show you. This is not what I've written. I find I get shown to show you this stuff. That's the deal I struck up with the creator, whether you want to believe that or not. Obviously, there was more to this. As you know, it claims I'm an archangel that has been sent to Earth to basically bring a last message. That's what Atlas is, an anagram of Elast, and then it's by using map tricks And literally by them telling me where to go, or telling me, or whoever tells, I'm not even sure who exactly is telling me, or whether it's coming from some kind of computer type thing, maybe the tetragrammaton, or where the divine end times plan is stored, and they download in by remote anagram to me. I channel it in English, and then I literally show you the coordinates on the map, allowing me to show you things that I would never even begin to claim in a million years had I not had something to back it up. Okay, just bear with me a second. Okay, folks, right. Okay, so firstly I'm going to show you the basics of this code. Right, obviously what I've done here is I've put the pinpoints where they started kind of thing, and the things, well, apart from Ross, whatever it is, I obviously I didn't even know the other places. The other place I kind of worked out, not the Mersey D and Royce Niger, which is absolutely extraordinary what this actually says when you put the three together. And then obviously the basis of the coordinates tells you, well, like I say, I'm not claiming anything, but what this claims is actually absolutely extraordinary. Okay, you've seen the map and how this works. Okay, so let me just break this down, and again, I'll explain the positioning as well of the Holyhead, the temple. You've got the Holyhead, so the message comes in. Then you've got the Anglesey, which is angel yes, that's what it says. I'll show you that now. Angel yes, and then you go off to the Mersey book, and then the eye of provide evidence or providence. There's a bit more to it, but it's the eye of the Holyhead that then identifies Markham. Okay, and the finger, if you follow that down and pinpoint it off Rosslear Island, literally points to Suriname, which gives you the Anagai surname I am a mapper. Let me just bring my mic back. I'm sorry guys. Okay. Right, okay, just to show you right, this is just the core of the message, not the full message. I'll show you the full message after. Okay, so, okay. I'm taking the sting out of this because of the full message. Okay, why RGH? If you're new to this, the RGH, the coordinate, not only is it the Royal Gwent Hospital where I was born, it's actually the, it's when I unmapped the Solomon's safe zone, basically, this is the one fort, this is Jerusalem, it's got the picture of the lock on it, and this is Solomon's Key, which is actually a hill fort in the shape of, literally in the shape of a key. What you've got then with the RGH, actually, these are the pillars of Solomon off the symbol, the Masonic symbol, which gives away everything. Then you've got the Royal Arch, which is the Cancer sign, which is my birth sign. This is the R, this is Jerusalem, and this is the H, which again I can't go into the full decode of it, but it's absolutely astonishing because it's the Mel H. That's what it decodes to. It's Llanmelin is the fort. Okay, but what you've got is the RGH. And then you've got the moon that comes to the full, because the crescent moon is an anagram of secret C on 1, which is your trick C. So when you if you put a C into King Solomon, and this is his coding secret, this is the secret of the, and you've got the 7 stars, which are the Pleiades, which anagrams to please ID. Okay, this says, I'm not going to write it, but it's an anagram of secret C on 1. When we take this now and we put, let's just put let's put key in a shorter. Right, you're going to get key and temple, okay? Okay, so what you got is the code for the CC, which is your 33 as well, your Masonic 33, is so locking I should use Solomon's key. Mons key. Same formula applies for the temple. And that's so locking Solomon's, so locking Mon's key, so locking Mon's temple. Please ID the secrecy on Mon. Okay, so that's how you do it. But then you've got the Royal Arching Cancer, which is your R, which is also represented by your river, because this says the River Severn is the old Sab River that's been changed. Again, I can't get into it all, but when you anagram the Severn, it says Sinavi, the rendezvous. And then obviously this leads you then, this being the rendezvous, the lock, and the key being the key to the landing zone, the LZ for the Argus Navis ship, which I've also decoded. Okay. Then the angel yes is on the temple. So it's really temple, and obviously if anyone's been watching this, you'll know that next to this temple is Kyle Went House. That's my registered place of birth, where I was taken from there to the Royal Gwent Hospital, which is the Royal Arching Cancer. Born there, brought back to the temple, obviously, where I lived. So I was basically in the womb of the matrix, because this padlock is where you unlock the matrix or the matrix. Okay, so you've got effectively really on the temple you've got the angel angle C is angel yes. Okay. Then you've got the holy, obviously it connects to the Holyhead, and then it points to Marco. Honestly, you couldn't make this up. Okay, that's just breaking it down. Now I'll give you the full place name, the full list of place names and the code, and we'll start, and we'll get the full. Obviously, this just gives you. This is just a sort of quick method of showing it with the main places. Now I'm going to add in the entire message, or put it into an entire message made up of, well, substantial name of places that are all in a line effectively. Okay, bear with me a second, folks. Okay, folks, these are the places, basically, all in this one line, obviously with the one line going up to the Holyhead, or the bit that the sort of kind of thing that connects, or I guess on the helmet of, I don't know, is it salvation or something? But it sure makes a whole lot of sense. Now, bear in mind that I've given basically the safe zone and everything else, and I have all the keys to the city of David. I've decoded the Vine Man, the Lion of Judah. And I can pin them all literally for whatever reason to me. I didn't start this out. I didn't expect to ever find what I'm finding. Obviously when it started, this tetragrammaton was connecting to me, but I did not understand what was going on. I thought I just sort of hit a few codes, and that were like, it was sort of the Eureka moment sort of being Mount Sinai, when I realised it was Be a Recon Beacon, or the Brecon Beacons. Or the Brecon Beacon, which I've decoded that as well, which even pinpoints my caravan, where I live, opposite Eve's ID, which is an apple built into a wall. If you're watching these videos, you'll know it. If not, see the Eden videos and you'll see what Eve's ID is, because that is critical to the Eye of Providence. And it's not the only code in it, but I've done a video on that as well. All these, what I'm going to show you now, is backed up by hundreds of other codes, really. And beyond any, it's beyond coincidence to find these things. You couldn't do it in a lifetime. I'm not doing this, but this is not me doing this. I'm literally the angel messenger, and even my name, as you've seen if you've watched the last video and the video before, I even realised my name even says join H on map evac Gymru LZ. Literally, all you do is take the Z off one of the Solomon symbols, which is again, and that decodes to my name and everything. Okay, right. I've put all the names of these places that are on those lines before I write them. Well, now, and what I'm going to do, you've seen how I do it, is cross it. If you wish to check it, please do. I guarantee it works, because I go over and over these. Drives me nuts sometimes. But right, now I'll give you the actual message. Bear with me a second. Okay, folks, unbelievable code written in this, and believe me, it's taken a lot for me to, well, to take in, because I never, well, I don't know, I just, you know, I don't know anything other than the code, and the best thing I can do is just show you the code, because this is not me saying this is the message that has been encoded into creation, simply in the most, or into the matrix, the matrix, in the most miraculous way, because it doesn't just, well, it doesn't tell you one thing, it actually ties multiple things, as these codes always do. The last video was a kind of confirmation of everything I've been saying, which sounds so far-fetched, just ridiculous, telling people that basically a spaceship, a star arc, as it's written on here, you can see it on here, yes, ran it, a star arc. All to do with Solomon's Star and the paper ship. But again, watch the last video and it'll make a whole lot more sense. If you're new to it, I'll explain a lot of this, some of this as we go, but it's absolutely impossible to be coincidence. Okay, it says, I named my angel boy Marco, born at Royal Gwent Hospital. RGH is the Royal Gwent Hospital. Yes, Redeemer is on RGH. Well, the RGH is also the code that it's a star map that basically uses the pillars as well, and then you overlay it onto an atlas, and basically it decodes exactly where these two forts are on the constellation of Cancer. It's the constellation of Cancer that is overlaid onto the map of Britain, and then the moon sign, which is also Cancer. It basically highlights the actual area of the rendezvous point, which is the lock or the temple, and then the LZ, which happens to be where the key is, or near to or around where the key is. Okay, it says, go tell why Solomon coded Kaiwent a star city. Well, I've pretty much just done that, and that's because it's G-Roos the crane, the Eye of Providence, as I'll show you what that means shortly. The Eye of Providence, which provides ID, gives you Eve's ID, which is the apple in the corner of the city, all encoded again in multiple codes in my Eden videos, naming it as Eden, the place of Eden, where the apple, and I've explained about the crab apple and the reskinned apple of, well, Horus and Christianity basically is, and obviously naming the snake in the garden as well. Again, like, to go into it all, you're going to have to go back over videos to confirm it, but everything I'm telling you exists in code. Yes, ran it a star arc. Well, the star arc is the Argus Navis. It's based on the constellation, the Argus Navis, which even has the code in it, something about mapping the Gumri LZ. It says, to pick up the people that evac Earth. That's the code from the stars, or the constellation names that make up the ancient Argus Navis constellation. Okay, brilliantly, this also now confirms that my 666 decode was actually correct, and it isn't on its own, because it's a second code that actually backs this up again, the second code, which goes in a completely different direction, but backs this up. But we'll get to that. But open FFF is sixth letter of the alphabet F, so it's Fink's fallen few. Fink is Larry Fink of Blackrock, current. Without doubt, he's controlling everything he's the man behind the curtain, literally, that's controlling everything. The Fink's fallen few. The few is the reverse is the WEF. So you have the man and the beast, and obviously the man is the fallen angel, Lawrence Douglas Fink, whose name decodes. Like I said, I've decoded it, and it's absolutely stunning. I'll be getting into that a little bit later on when we get onto the second code, the second huge code I've got to get through. Okay, but as you can see, obviously, well, and even me, obviously what I'm seeing is I don't even know what to think, because even if I don't want to believe this, number one, I know how I get these codes, and it's like, I've got everything I'm showing you today, apart from the Guyana bit. I've got in a few other odd pieces. I've got in the last, in honesty, the last week and a half, really, less than that. In fact, the second code I got, I pulled it all together yesterday. So, but unbelievable all the same. So as you can see, it clearly states that well, the Redeemer makes complete sense. I've been doing Sabbath since this all started. A long story that I can't get into. I basically lost everything, went through a whole, I don't even know what to call it, but let's just say how I got here is absolutely remarkable and ultimately quite strange as well. But obviously everything is sort of paying off, because everything I've been doing over the last 3-4 years is now getting confirmed. And I did not expect it to be anything to do with me. I just thought it was, I'd found a few tribes and, you know, and some odd bits, but clearly there's a lot more to it. And your Solomon, yes, it's revealing what's been hidden from us. Like Coelin ap Caradoc is actually Solomon, and he was the son of David. Well, you'll know him as Caradoc ap Bran, you'll know him as, or what they've sneakily tried to change to Caraticus and confuse it all. But I'm 99.9% sure his name was David Caradoc ap Bran, but they conveniently removed the David, but his name is coded, as is Coelin ap Caradoc's name coded. Coelin ap Caradoc was known as a just and wise king as well, incidentally, in writings that still exist. So in the Middle East, when they're talking of Solomon and everything else, their King Solomon is not the name. Well, David is a removed name, but a coded name for the rest of it. And so Coelin is actually a coded name. So their King Solomon, their Jerusalem, everything is a complete and utter fake. And it's a lie, and I will show you well, there's more to come on this. Anyway, without going on too much, I'll just move on. Okay, folks, just so you know, the Eye of Providence, or the all-seeing eye, you find this on the American dollar, which I've decoded as well, because that has a hidden message in it. There's a video on that. But it's also obviously on all of Solomon's symbology. And the Eye of Providence is effectively a hidden code in itself. All you have to do is add the hidden letters, or the removed letters, and what it says is provides evidence. So when it says provides evidence, there's more than one thing to this. It's CVID. Well, add VID is David, and you add V to Clan Melin, and it becomes Clan Melvin. My name is Marco ap Melvin, and my family's name, my father's name Melvin ap Mel. My grandfather was Melvin ap Robert. My father was Melvin ap Melvin, and I'm Marco ap Melvin. So it's the Melvin line, and it's basically the vine. You can also see it's written in the rivers as well, the South rivers, and you can literally decode my mother and father's name and connect them with the letter V. My mother being Vernon, my father being Melvin. It makes right without getting into all that. Right, but let's go with the simple one. This one says, Eve's ID. Okay, so what does it mean by Eve's ID? Well, on the fort of Jerusalem, which I'm about to point, obviously this thing, that's what I'm saying, the Eye of Providence is now looking down, and it's literally looking, this Marco then goes to Jerusalem the Crane, which gives you the actual name of the city, as I'll explain a little bit more in a second. But what it's giving you is Eve's ID. Now, where these forts are, on a map, you've got Clan Melin. Then the fort, Solomon's, I don't know where the temple is exactly, but you've got the temple with this stone padlock on it, which is add P lock when you break the padlock. So that's just an anagram of add P lock. Lock the P into the matrix, and it becomes matrix, and that's what this is all about. And what you have from this fort, if you go it down, this is all off skew, but if you go through the centre of the padlock, what it does, it comes to a mound in the corner in the shape of an apple. And I mean, it looks exact. I thought it was pareidolia, then a ton of code came in overnight, literally, and basically, so the place of Eve's ID is actually Jerusalem, which is why the Eye of Providence, or the showing it as the Eye of Providence, provides evidence of the place of Eve's ID, which is the Fort Jerusalem, which I'll show you now, has its own codes in it where we are. I've sort of run through quickly some of the basic ones. Right, bear with me a second. Okay, folks, you can find this in all the videos. Let me just move that camera down a bit. or up a bit rather. Okay, I put them on there, but obviously there's there's more than one code in this because these make up a sentence on their own. Now, as you'll see, I've used the Z as seal, but it's seal a fort. There's a reason it's a Z because there's a secondary code in it that uses a Z, but the Z and the S are obviously going to be interchangeable. But this is used so you can do it in two ways. Okay, so the four brightest stars in the constellation G-Rus, which are actually countries, whereas these are the lesser stars. Are sort of places rather than countries. Obviously, this allows it to turn it into the, to make it more precise, so you can see it's clearly mapped out as the. I'm not sure it goes exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, or something like this. I don't know, but these are the. I think this is something like it, give or take. But the bigger, brighter stars are on countries, and these give you the first message. So this is Guyana, Suriname, Roraima, and Amapa. So you have, and when you unscrabble those, it says Anna Guy, surname I, Roraima, Amapa. Obviously, so that's a good start. Now individually, this would be Guyana City, a guy in a city. Well, I'm a guy, and we're talking of Jerusalem. Okay, Marco B. Mel, but this Marco, again, you can see where the Eye of Providence is looking at as well, but there's more to it than that, because there's a code in Taurus that I'll show you now, or a message in Taurus. Marco B. That says Marco B. Mel. Well, I am a Marco at Melvin, obviously, guy. And this is the complete... Jerusalem is a code in itself. It's a code reversed. Again, I'll show you in a second, but you'll see how this all fits together. And Sao Lewis is so a Siluri, and a Siluri is a singular Siluri. Well, I would be born in the land of the Siluri, makes me a Siluri. Fortaleza is Zela Fort or Sela Fort. Again, I'll show you the reason for the Z now. Right, bear with me a second. Okay, folks, right, okay, right, Guyana City, Bemel, Marco, Sao Louis, Sao Louis and Fortaleza. When you unscrabble it, not only do they have codes in their own right, the other one, and this is why the Z is there, it has a second, well, I say a second, I think it's a more important, probably a better, in some ways a better code, but obviously they're all good. It says, I am a four-angel city. I'll explain that next, but you could, believe me, there's no way this is coincidence. You see a boy Marco, Atlas LZ. Okay, right, well, the Atlas LZ, right, okay, so firstly, well, again, the boy is already been explained, being the boy born in, registered birth at the temple, taken to the RGH, comes back, puts it, basically by some miracle, it's not, it was a miracle by help, because I would never do this on my own. It says, you see a boy Marco, Atlas LZ. What's it mean by Atlas LZ? Well, first is G-Rus and Mel. You've got G-Rus and a Mel. Basically, unscrabble that and you get Jerusalem. Okay. Right. Firstly, Argus. Argus is the ship. The name of the ship. Solomon's Newport newspaper ship, which is the Argus. And then you've got the a Mel. Well, the Mel is the Melin is the LZ, the landing zone. Okay, so this is in reference to that. And then you see a boy Marco. Okay, what does this mean? Okay, when you reverse Jerusalem, Jerusalem, and it's basically it's a code hidden in it. And what it is this is my father and grandfather's name, Melvin, a surname G. Well, G is obviously Guy, but it's incomplete, which is why you need to go to Taurus, which is Tau means completion, and Rus. So the completion of Rus is hidden in the word Taurus, which connects directly back to this star map. Okay, but what this does as well, with the added letters, what you do is you get this code. You get Vine Man. Okay, Now, the vine man, this is very biblical, basically, and Jesus claims he's the Redeemer, Judah's lion, the code for a lion from the tribe of Judah, says only UID as H. And again, if you've been following this, you'll know that the H connects to the Mel as well, and so on and so forth. But you also got the vine man. But we know, okay, I'll show you the 4 angel city in a bit, but let's go to talk, right, let me just show you. Right, let me just pause you a second so we save a bit of time. Okay, folks, just as if you think this couldn't get any more crazier. Right, okay, let me just square up again. Right, so we need to basically, Tau means completion. So completion at Rus is Taurus. So to go to Taurus, all you do is take the stars in Taurus, you anagram them down, and they say this remarkable message. And again, I'd already decoded beforehand all this. I'm just showing you, it's more of a recap. You ran Guyana map. Obviously, it's in Guyana. Guyana is the place where that crane is. And Mel that I hid in. The Mel that he hid in is Marco B. Mel. The Marco. Bran a lead. Well, Bran is Bran the Blessed. And I think that is indicating that I'm blessed in getting this. And I certainly am. But Bran a lead. But Bran is King Bran. He is Karadic's father. So it would be Solomon's grandfather. Bran a lead ruled from Lamelin. So what it's doing is tying the Mel part as well. The Fort Lamelin, which is Solomon's key, to the Fort Jerusalem. So you've got the Tau. The Tau is, well, really it's kind of Melin and Rus. So when you put the two together, obviously, but then what you get, so when you right, you can literally add Gymri into this as well if you want to complete it fully, which is where the 4 angel code come in. I'll explain that now. Right, well, firstly, Gymri is Mr. Then you've got Marco. Right, Ap means son of, because this is my father and my grandfather's name, so to complete it, I need to get my name in it. So Marco Ap Melvin. And obviously a surname G. Well, this is your Gymri, G-U-Y. Mr. Marco Ap Melvin Guy, which is actually my name in Welsh. Add the John to it, and then you get join H on map evac Gymri LZ. Okay, so pretty much impossible how this all fits together. Okay, let me just make sure I've got everything there. Okay, let me show you the 4 angels, what he means by the 4 angels city. Okay, folks, right, this is how you get the Mr. and the Guy bit as well. Okay, Jerusalem is an anagram of S-E-A-L, seal, G, rum. Okay, now what's it mean by the 4 angels code? Well, the 4 angels code, I realise, is G is Gabriel, the Y is actually U, and I'll show you why that is now. M is Michael, R is Raphael, and U is Uriel. Just use the first letter of the name. So you've got G-M-R-U. Obviously, the seal, to seal it, is the Y. And this Y now makes G-M-Y-R-U, which is Gymri, which is the Welsh name for Wales. Obviously, the country where Jerusalem is, tying Jerusalem to Wales as well, and Wales to Jerusalem. But what you have effectively is you, Gymri, and then obviously what he's effectively saying is when you just unscrabble that, and it's you, Mr. Guy. So the 5th angel kind of, well, I think this represents as well, is as much as an angel. And if you go with Solomon's wise code, you've got the angel praying, and in turn, you see the reflection of in the waters on Solomon's great seal. You see the reflection of the safe zone. It's doing that. Obviously, I haven't done it very well there, but you can see where I'm going with it. But again, I could go into more detail, but I haven't got time, so I'm just going to call that one short. Oh, one last thing. Okay, so we've worked out that this Guyana map is obviously G-Rus the crane, and basically not only decodes Jerusalem, but it pins me to it by name. Okay, now what's incredible as well, not missing out water. These codes are Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so we got Jerusalem here, then it goes across the Atlantic up to the Eye of Providence, which provide evidence Obviously, the city provides the evidence with the Eve's ID, but what this one says is, amazingly, can tie to a clan. Obviously, the clan it's talking about is when you decode basically, well, they're going into it, but you've got the clan, Clan Melin. When you decode it from Solomon's symbol, becomes Clan Melvin. And the Clan Melvin, like I say, and it is also the elm, Mel is the elm. So the replanted tree, he says he rips the old tree up by the roots and then he replants a new tree and then it grows and you get the branch off it and everything else. But basically, growing the new fruit type thing is the, well, I don't know how that works, but it's the elm tree basically, offering a good, I think it's offering a good apple, not the crab apple, which is the Eve's ID in the corner of the fort. But as you can see, even the Atlantic Ocean, all these waters, and somewhere in Job, it's just, I won't get into that right now, I've not got time. Okay, but as you can see, it's pretty comprehensive how this code all possibly fits together. And what led to these codes is hundreds of other codes as well, so it's not like, this is really sort of a chipping off the top with the new code. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay, folks. Now, just again, listen. Within the last couple of weeks. Okay, 3-star constellations all fixed together. They've got their own little codes in them. I mean, Pix is sort of kind of edged on that, but I won't get into it. But Compass is actually CMAP SOS as well. That C is the C that goes into Solomon, so locking in Mon's temple. So on the SOS is obviously the key and the temple and the key. Okay, right, when you anagram these 3 constellations down, Kylum the chisel, Norma the square and rule, and Pyxis the compass, you get this message. It says connect hex seal, the real map, square compass, bear with me, I missed a word. Map, compass, Silurum, they hid. Okay, the Fort Jerusalem was hidden with the name Venta Silurum. What they don't know is when they renamed it, they actually recoded it anyway. Clearly, Yara's in charge, and obviously he knows exactly what they're going to do because he wrote the script, or he'd done the simulation, I guess, and threw it out there. And it's just so everything they do to try to cover it up just makes it worse for them, effectively. Okay, so what they did, basically, Silurum, again, I won't get into all of it, but connect hex seal, right? The hex seal, right? Not only is this one the C, I think this is the CZ. I don't know which order it goes in, ENI I think, but this is the code that breaks it all, and you've got the H there and the G in the middle. Little do they know, but in there it's got CMELIN, so C-Melin. I've uncoded all that, so I can't get into all of it, but long and short of it is, what this is saying, basically, it's hiding the real Silurum is the name given to Jerusalem. The event Silurum is the fort, but the key, obviously, this is the key fort, Melin, or Clan Melin. This is why you've got the MELIN, and then it says C as well, which so locking in Mon's key. Okay, the Z obviously goes on to the LZ. I won't get into all of that, but you've got effectively, you've got 6 sides and 6 points. This is your hexagon. In the middle is a hex on G. In fact, the hexagram is a RGH, a Royal Gwent Hospital exam. A RGH exam. It sounds silly because you should have an, if you'd say it as it is, obviously it's coded, but this would be an RGH exam. But what you do is you put a Royal Gwent Hospital exam. Why is it the Royal Gwent Hospital? There's the crown. Oh, that's the Royal as well. Plus you also got the Royal Arch as well underneath the star. So what you've got again is the RGH, the Royal Gwent Hospital, and the crown with the H-man. Okay, if you don't know about the H-man, go back and like I say, I can't get into it all, but what you have really, basically, this is the hiding of the real fort of Jerusalem, because you've got 6 sides on the hexagon, which is a hex on G, and then to unscrabble it, you use the 6 on the pentagram, which is a RGH exam, which gives you clearly names of the fort. So, but the 66 is relevant because 66 books of the Bible, basically, that the Vatican have sort of messed up, and obviously put a hex on G. That's what it amounts to. 66 books of the Bible with a hex on G, by moving everything to the Middle East. Okay, there's a bit more to this, bear with me. Okay, folks, just to take this a step further as well, on the Seals of Solomon and the 4 Archangel Code. Okay. Right, I'm going to draw them like seagulls, but on the Seal of Solomon, which you don't see very often, there's only one I found where it shows it. There should be, and they've cut this out I think on the majority, 4 cherubims. Okay, 4 different, and they've all got different faces as it turns out. Right, this is the bearded guy on the Great Seal of Solomon, and then what you have is this split. Effectively is the seal split in half. I'm not very good at drawing them, but what you have is this seal split in half. But when you put it together, basically, first thing you've got to decode, in fact, let's go with the hex on G. So if you put a hex on G, you've got, effectively, the G went, okay? And then you take the function of this. This is a Masonic level, okay? The reflection in the water actually represents Newport Lighthouse, because we're about to literally switch on and highlight the code. It's where I did my first video as well, that connects back to Jerusalem as well. Okay, so I was talking to Danielle Sheehan, and she was literally in the Newport Lighthouse interviewing me. Okay, so it's a landmark video as well. Okay, but the centre is where the G is there, but obviously the G went because they got rid of it. So the first part of the code is went, effectively. And then what you do is you take the level and the levels. Okay, so we've got the Gwent levels. This is the area, basically, between Newport and Caldecott, where the ship on the map basically sits. Not very good, but that would be the lock in Jerusalem, okay? Now, okay, so you've got the Gwent levels, and then what you've got is you've got obviously you take the Newport. Well, firstly, this is a paper ship. That's what it is. When you get an A4 piece of paper and you fold it up, it's cleverly hidden, but it's a paper ship. Okay, so the Newport paper ship. The Newport paper, the paper for Newport Gwent, or the South Wales paper, the South Wales, is called the Argus. Okay, obviously the name of the ship is the Argus Navis. Okay, oh sorry, and I missed as well. Right, the fort at Ventus Ilurum, or Jerusalem, is actually in the shape of a compass. There's a northeast, southwest gate. Well, it uses the word compass an awful lot, particularly in Psalms as well, which goes as L's maps, which is angels' maps. Or maps angels. Okay, so what we do is we take the NEWS. So we've got, along the way we've got the Newport News paper ship. This is what it decodes as. And the Newport News paper is the Argus. Oh, I've got to squeeze it in there, but you can see it. The Newport newspaper ship. So it's the Newport newspaper is the Argus, which is A.G. Roos as well. And then you've got the Mel, which is the key, which is up here. The key to unlocking the LZ is to find the ship. Okay, right. The 4 angels again. This is just G, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and this is me standing, doing my prayer, putting my sins up, and seeing the reverse being the safe zone. You also decode it as being, I'm not going to do it now, but a Coelin ap Caradoc. Just to back this up, on the function side of things, what you do, okay, so this is obviously a compass, and this is why your square and compass code came in on the last one as well, and what the square and compass symbolises, okay, that they hid. Okay, it's this thing arcs, and this thing makes angles. So literally with a spin of the word, you've got archangels. Obviously this is where the Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel come in. Then you seal it with a Y, so it gives you basically Gumri. So you've also got the archangels and Gumri, Mr. Guy. Obviously that would be me. Okay, I think that's all on that one, so just bear with me a second, we ain't finished yet. Okay, folks, open FFF ID Fallen Angel. Okay, as I did, I've done in the videos before, so obviously this is sort of preempting what I'm going to do. 6 is the 5th letter of the alphabet. 666 is FFF. All you do is fill in the blank. I've already worked out that Fink, Lawrence Douglas Fink, or Larry Fink, the chairman and CEO or owner of BlackRock, is basically the man behind the curtain. He's a fallen angel, he's Lucifer, written into his name. I've showed it, well, I'll show you in a little bit. His demise as well is written into this along with Klaus Schwab. Okay, Fink's fallen few. Okay, so let him who hath understanding. Right, I'm going to call this Satan's quiz, okay? Because Satan, or Ra, and the Church of Amen Ra wrote Revelations. I'm about to kind of prove it in a crazy kind of way. Not on this code, but on the next one. But they'll link up as you'll see. Okay, so Fink's fallen few has a code in it. I knew it would. I couldn't see it until I got it. Right, it's... where is it? Let me just do it. It's... MFF. Right, let's go from the top. LINK NEW. SEAL. Link new FFF seal. Obviously, you need right time trigger basically. Right, I'm not going to get into all of this, but right, okay. Right, the new seal I've got. In fact, I'm going to have to do it. Right, okay. The ship is made up of lines, and they cross over. And what they do, they give you this blueprint. I mean, this one goes to the Royal Gwent Hospital. There's a code in the deck of the ship. The carina, the arc in a keel, the car in a keel, which is carina the keel, makes up the M4 motorway. Okay, this will all become apparent why I'm showing you this shortly. Okay, this goes down to Noah's Ark Farm Zoo. This is where I lived after we moved from Carwent. And if you've seen the last one, it tells you to seal the Connect Noah's mast on the other line that goes around like a picture frame, the reticular Connect Noah's mast to the sacred angel crib. Okay, again, saying I'm an angel. Right, okay, but there's another line. And this line now makes up, this is the Adam and Eve line, Adam and Eve code line, goes all the way up to Evesham. Again, I'm not going to go through it all, but it tells you about the Apple ID, Atlas Apple ID being on Kyle Wentwall. Comes all the way down. There's more code than this, but effectively it makes the line, this line makes the one side of the sail of the ship, so it's all sort of blueprinted out. Now, I realised where this second line goes, because there was a time trigger. And this goes to where I work on a Friday night, in a place called the King's Arms in Trowbridge. Because what happened there was a time trigger. Basically, a doorman from up the road came down. I was working as security on the door of this pub. He comes down. I never even thought of it. But this is how this matrix works, and it's live. On his arms, he's got loads of tattoos, effectively. The guy next to me who I'm working with said to him, "Oh, I love your Norse compass." Well, when I looked at it, I realised it's one of Solomon's symbols. Okay, so I realised that effectively what I got was a time trigger. Okay, crazy as it is, without going all into it, you've got the remote anagram. I'm not going to go into it all, but TT, which is right. So your TT gives you Remote anagrams truth, remote anagrams trust H, remote anagrams, it says 10 tribes, which is seen ribs, gives you the code. Again, I'm not going to be able to explain all this. But then, right, then it's a tetragrammaton, which indicates 4. I'm assuming this is what it means. I've got 3 already. Well, the 4th one was a timed trigger. Okay, this is just giving you an example of this matrix being live. Okay, so this would be a remote anagram TT. It's a time trigger. Okay, so if we just take out the T, right, okay, let me just do it. So you've got TT, and then what you've got is ID, me, and then me, and then RIGGER, rigger. Okay, so what does it mean by the rigger? Well, the rigger puts up sails, basically, on a ship. So, TT, ID, me, rigger. Well, I'm the rigger of the sail, but obviously, if you draw the line in from the lockdown to where I work on a Friday night on a pub, never mind the fact that the key points to where I work, where I am right now, but that is your time trigger, and this is where I saw the Norse compass. Okay, now the Norse compass fits on the map. Okay, where does it fit? Well, it's simple. It fits on Oslo. Okay, because we already know the code is Mon. The 3 ribs, the bear with 3 ribs in its mouth is effectively, it is Finland, Sweden, and Norway. Okay, obviously Norway, Oslo. The signal to get to Mon is when Oslo falls, and it's to get to the key. It's to get to the lock, obviously for the evac. Russia will invade. This is the bear with 3 ribs in his mouth, raised up on one side. It's said, and is told to devour much flesh. So the flesh are the Flemish, because that says, well, effectively it says I'm flesh. So you uncode that by the I'm flesh. Okay, I'm flesh. So the flesh on the outside. So when the 3 ribs are devoured, Oslo falls. You know the Russians. The anagram of Norway is on way. They're on their way, and you've got the R. Now at Mon, you've got the GH. So what you've got is when Oslo falls, Oslo is also an anagram of solo. So you've got the solo, Mon, RGH. So the signal for the people to get to the safe zone, as I've showed you. Right, what's this got to do with the Norse compass? Right, on the big map, basically, the Norse compass, I don't know, looks something, they've got these strange, all these digits on it. I don't think they mean anything, it's just literally, but it's Norse. And you've got this Norse compass. Well, that fits on Oslo, because Norse compass, in fact, I've shown you all this, but, so you fit it onto the map. This is the new seal as well, the FFF seal. Okay, so Norse compass. It's kind of doing something that I've already done, but obviously it's just proving the point. SOS. Okay, so when you get to the other, literally the second compass, which is the fort, where the newspaper ship is going to arrive, and then you've got CMAP SOS for this compass. Compass is an anagram of this, COMPASS. Okay, what does it mean by C? So locking in. Again, use the secret C on Mon. So locking Mons. Well, it would be probably temple in this case, obviously temple, which is where you've seen the RV in the 7. So we've got the seen RV, but it's to tell you the recon, the map SOS. Okay, but why is it? What does it mean by that? Well, this connects to back to the Vatican key. If you haven't watched the Vatican key video, I would suggest watching it, because you can literally, right, if you take the Vatican key, this key, I've shown it all, I'm not very good at drawing these. Right, you've got this, basically you've got this key, this star thing that looks like this. There's fully encoded. This is not very good. Then what you've got is the cross at the top, which is the St. Paul's, whatever it is. But effectively, it draws out a key on the city of Rome. Okay, I can't go through everything with it, but it literally crosses Roman Catholic SOS in anagram. So to find the Roman Catholic SOS, you literally go to the key. If you pinpoint center and go up, miraculously it hits the second compass, Oslo, where you place the second compass of Oslo. And then this, I don't know where it goes, but you get the picture. So you've got Oslo, which is this is telling you that where they're going, they're not literally going to there and there, but this lines up perfectly with Oslo. Then you connect it back to Mon's key. Bear in mind, we're going to the temple. They're going to go between the key, because Solomon's symbol is actually a dollar as well on that on the CZ melon, or whatever it's done. I don't know how it's done, but it's effectively that melon, and you get the code to see the LZ. But between there and this dollar sign has a lid on it, because it represents underground. So what they've got is this between, they've worked out the safe zone is between, they haven't worked everything out obviously, but they've worked out this thing, and what they've got is a $1 billion bunker. I know it's $1 billion because $1 billion is I on dollar bill. Now if you go to my decoded at the dollar bill, that's $1 billion. I on dollar. What? Oh, sorry. I $1 bill. I think it is. I forget what it is. It's not that important anyway. But either way, when you go to there, it tells you that the Ventusylum, the octopus one's indoor. The octopus one's a beast, which I think is more of a kraken with his tentacles into everything and about to bring the world to destruction. So what you do is, by using this Norse compass, for some whatever reason, it's done with that. I don't know, maybe the Vikings are evil or something. But you got this, you follow the code, and within this, right, and then within these lines, I'll keep that there a minute. But built into there is right, firstly, right, working backwards, okay, you work back, because this line runs through Denmark, Finland, right, you've rushing a bit because I'm worried about time. Okay, so you've got Norway, Sweden. Now these come with a ton of codes, but I always put W. You've got Norway, Sweden, Finland. Obviously the bear is Russia. And then what you've got is Denmark. Well, Denmark is like a pointer to the 3 ribs. There's Denmark. This line comes up through Denmark and literally points to the final rib, which is where your Norse compass sits. So you've got your 3 ribs. Okay. But the code is right. This Fink code is written, or this 666 code that we're on about, that it says kind of to reveal, is the fact that. Right, an anagram of Denmark, Sweden, Finland and Norway is, and Finks, where are we? Bear with me folks. Eden, World War, End, Many. Okay, in other words, he's the one causing the war. Right, okay, there's more to it than that, because, right, as you follow down, right, where are we? Right, as you get to this key, encoded in this, the places in here, the Castel d'Angelo and the Garden of something, I forget, this key, the end of the key type thing. Right, the code written in there in the place names is Marco, open, Atlas code. All real. All real. ID Satan Angel. That is literally what is encoded in this area here, the exact anagram for the places that it names. Okay, well, we're ID in Satan's Angel because think is Lucifer. Okay, but it's, again, I've shown this before, but I'll do it now just so you can see it. Right, okay, what we do is we add, okay, well, let's ID Satan. Satan is Ra. I'm going to, you can do it with a H or with a, it doesn't really matter. And then what you have is, so we ID the fallen angel is Lawrence Douglas Fink. Okay, right, how do we know who he is? Well, there's more than this to it. I've uncoded it again extensively, but what this says is Ra, which is the snake from the garden, what we know is Satan. And he goes by the act thing because he doesn't want you to put Amen Ra, so you don't real. So obviously for Christians not to realise who they're giving all their praise to when they say Amen. Okay, I've unscrabbled that. Go back to the Eden Code and you'll see it. Okay, Ra. C-Laus-G-O-N-E. So the outcome of their little charade is Ra, Lucifer and Klaus all gone. This is when we have, after the war, the evac, and then the fire, which is Nibiru, which is, if you don't know, is planet X. Once the evac is done, this is what's going to happen to the world. Effectively, it's going to be burnt to a cinder and destroyed. But what you see is, well, as you can see, and this is the end of the beast, which is the WAF, is the beast. Okay, so, right, okay, on that note, I'm going to, right, I think I've done everything on that. So, Russia, Oslo Falls Head, RGH, Mon. Right, bear with me a second into the last and final amazing code. Okay, folks, for the next code, we've got a huge, absolutely global looking line. Right, what this does, okay, this code is, well, I think this is done to show you that to be able to find this in a week or whatever, or less than that. I mean, I only found this yesterday or the day before. Yeah, well, yesterday I uncoded it, but right, what this line does, it basically, it runs from, if I just pull this up, let me just, okay. So what we're going to do, this key, not only with a slight adjustment, this key points to where I work now, which connects to the Vatican key. I can't go into all that, it's all in the Vatican key coded video. But if you note, if I centre it roughly there, point it down, well, unbelievably, it goes through, well, it goes through caution, which is Marco's H. Again, that's how you get that, partly how you get the H, man. It runs through caution. But or where I'm working now actually, but if I keep following it literally and I go all the way to Gaza, it hits directly, well, if I follow it through, it lands in the feet of the Sphinx because that's a code for planet X. But as you notice, see this line coming down here cuts directly through these two lines on the pyramid and it's there. Okay, the first line of code that we're going to do, well, just to show you, this one goes off as well because this is coded line, and this one goes to Palma de Mallorca, which is an island sat in the Mediterranean Sea. I'll tell you what that one says now. Basically, Palma de Mallorca is an anagram of Marco led all a map. Okay, and the place I've pinned it on, I don't know whether it's relevant, probably, it's a place called Can Pick a Fort. There's no K in it, but it's Can Pick a Fort. Obviously had a K to it, can pick a fort. This one connected back to the two forts above. But the actual island's name is Palma de Mallorca. It's an anagram of Marco. Marco led all the map. And what it's doing is highlighting, is showing the false light of Rome, basically, and exposing it for what it is in the Mediterranean Sea. Because what's written in the Mediterranean Sea code is absolutely remarkable and fits with the first code that we did today. Okay, on this side, like I said, well, the places are England, France, Switzerland, Italy, Albania, Greece, Crete, Mediterranean Sea, and the English Channel, Mediterranean Sea, and then Egypt, but specifically because there's a current code written in the Giza pyramid as well, and this goes off in another direction, but I'll come to that, okay? Just bear with me a second. Okay, folks, right, what I've done again, if you want to write these down, then you can check the code against it. But what I've done is, these are the places that it crosses: England, English Channel, France, Italy, Switzerland, Albania, Greece, Crete, the Mediterranean Sea, because that's part of the code, big part of it actually, and then Egypt, but specifically the Giza pyramid, right on top. I've drawn the Sphinx in just to show that that connects as well, but that's another code in itself. Okay, but and bear in mind that Giza pyramid is also code for my name. I can decode my name, and I'm not going to do it now. I've done it on a few previous videos, but you can, G is your map ID. My map ID is G is Gumri. Gumri is Mr. Guy. Okay, among a million other things in code. Okay, but I'm now going to show you the message it contained, the exact message contained into this, and why it is pointing at the Giza pyramid. Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, folks, unbelievably, this tells you exactly what I do and how I do it. It's kind of making a statement, and at the same time, it's going to open something else up. Those places say, as Redeemer Angel, I can channel English and free any clear pre-written atlas line. Pretty much what I've been doing all along. But channeling English means, because obviously it's channeling English, it's making a point that this whole matrix is in English. You know, when I get these channeling, it's not Hebrew or any, you know, all these other languages. It doesn't matter. It has to be in a language I understand, and I speak English. So even though I'm Welsh, obviously I speak English, so making it possible, obviously, for me to understand it. Even the word tetragrammaton actually encodes to in English, and as does everything else. So clearly, all these other languages, this Hebrew and everything else, are actually lies. Hebrew is an anagram for webs, but I won't get into that, or her web, which is the spider. But anyway, right, channel and free any clear written atlas line. So he's clearly stating what I'm doing and what I'm doing, and very cleverly, again, it's backing up as the Redeemer Angel, obviously, what I'm doing, but it's clever because it landed on the Giza pyramid, because there's a prophecy written in the Giza pyramid. Bear in mind, it was obviously the Giza pyramid, as well as obviously has my name and everything else in it. Obviously they were built, well, who knows when, but the Giza pyramid is actually a code. It says, right, which leads to the second one, because obviously I don't know where to get the second code. I need a pinpoint to start with. When it says, and bear in mind at this point in time, this is actually taking place. Okay, it says RIP Gaza, my ID. Written outside. I think there's something missing off there. Bear with me a second, folks. 2 seconds, guys and girls. Okay, folks, sorry about that. Right, yeah, I was right. Any clear pre-written atlas line, it says get bind Gaza City. Very important, because Gaza City is where I pinpoint the line that goes from the top of the pyramid and then literally points out and goes in a different direction, which gives you a secondary message that again backs up the very first message that I did tonight in the most incredible way. Okay, right, so Giza Pyramid says RIP Gaza, which is pretty much what's happening now, my ID. So get bind Gaza City, okay? So now I know to run this is the line coming down. This one goes off to Palma de Mallorca. Marco led all the map. This one, it says what above, and this line now goes to Uzbekistan basically, and I'll write the names of the places now going through, right, but the pinpoint where I knew where to put them on the map is Gaza City. Okay, so when it says to RIP Gaza, my ID, I'll come to that as well, because that's something unbelievable as well, because Hebron is in Gaza, and it's a city in Gaza rather than Gaza City. Gaza City is the pinpoint to do it, but there's a code in Hebron that identifies it as Clanmelin. It's hidden in. I'll come to that once I've done this code, okay? But basically, this tells me to RIP Gaza, my ID. Well, get bind Gaza City. So I go bind Gaza City, connect it, and basically this line goes out and gives you a second, another code, okay? Just bear with me a second, folks. Okay, folks, this is an absolutely phenomenal statement. Right, this line, obviously, I pinned the line on the Gaza City. Okay, there's a bit more to it, I'll come to that in a minute, but what this says is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, it says, I just ran Satan Reckon quiz. Okay, I'll do this bit first. Basically, Revelations, as I said at the beginning, is clearly the work of Ra and the Church of Amen-Ra, basically, which is your Vatican, and the church is blindly following, because the church is the curse, the crab apple. They're going to try and stop people getting on this ship, I can tell you that now, and I'll be labelled the liar's antichrist, as the code says in previous one. Basically, but it's not, is it? Really, obviously I'm having to prove, well, if this doesn't prove to you that I put this together in 3 weeks. Okay, I just ran Satan Reckon. What is the Reckon quiz? It says, he who hath understanding, reckon, with a K, exactly the same spelling, the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man. Well, and it is a human number, okay? Well, I've just shown you how you, literally, that I'm the one that has understanding, but I also have understanding that who's behind the lying and, the lies and the swearers and the liars. The swearers are those who swear the oath, is the Freemason and the hierarchies of this world, who know more than they're letting on, although they don't know it all. But obviously they're keeping the truth from you, of the real creator, Yahweh, that's his name, and that's who you need to turn to, get right, and get your mercy seat on the ark. And there's another code in that, I'll come to that probably on the next one, because I'm going to run out of time. But I just ran Satan Reckon quiz. Like I say, it doesn't come in 1s and 2s, this, it comes in, obviously it says, the first code says, open FFF ID Fallen Angel. So the Fallen Angel, obviously this is all to do with the 666 code, link new seal, well that runs it back to the Vatican basically, and because they're going to, they don't care about us, those people, the Vatican and the World Economic Forum, or the hierarchy at least of it, are going to all run to this bunker, which to identify the bunker, it says, I tie G, a serpent jinn, by Arkamada LZ. Now, obviously the Arkamada LZ is the key, Clanmelin. Right, now, to tie what this is tying up with the Old Testament. He says, I lay a gin and a snare to Jerusalem. Obviously it's spelled with a J-E in the Bible, but it shouldn't be. This is why it says, I tie gin. Well, G is the RV, it's Jerusalem. That's why he calls it a gin and a snare to Jerusalem. And I think I'm the G, the bait in the snare, because obviously they know it's the G and the G, so the G in the snare is the bait as well. They're decoding so far, and this is why this is actually an ex-American army base given up about 10 years ago with the massive tunnels and everything else. We used to hear the door, my mum and dad used to hear the doors, you could hear the doors shutting. But this is their safe zone, and that's why there's a dollar symbol on Solomon's, the Melin seal, and with this cap on the top, because it's underneath. And this is why you've got your 666, your 777, 888. It's Caitlin's Divine is IN count evac 9. Well, 888, for anyone who doesn't know as well, 999 is the emergency number for an ambulance in Britain, like your 911s. But obviously the 8 is the H, 7 is the G, this basically just ties it all together on Job 9:9. But which when it's uncoded is Job 999. It's the 999 job of Job. It's all I think that's an allegory. In between you've got the river as well, which is the river code, which is the CNRV. So you got the art. Literally you got think and his fallen few. This is why this dollar symbol has a cap on it. And on the map it overplaces between the lock and the key. The lock and that be the key. But obviously it's indicating it's underneath. This is the 666 bunker, the Roman Catholic SOS, which is why they have a cross. Oh, it's all encoded in. This is CROSS. So the Roman cross is it's all designed. They've been planning it for for as long as they can do it, working in tow with this creature called Ra, which I looked in the eye and had a look of worry on its face because, it obviously knew who I was. At the time I didn't know what he was. If you don't believe this sounds far-fetched, I said, don't believe me unless I get it in code. And then a week later I got it in code. It's written in the constellation of Aries the Ram. It says, I met Ra, arise, I think, is Aries the Ram. And then the actual stars say, Ra, Satan alarm, time to raise H for many. Okay, again, like I say, connect all this together, absolutely impossible. But it also confirms by the Archimedes LZ. So Tyre G, well, G is Jerusalem. A serpent jinn, well, the serpent as well is represented by the dollar. This is the serpent, and I think that's to do with the caduceus as well, on the Baphomet, which is an anagram of Macbeth H. There's more to that, but I won't go into that right now. But I can assure you, they've been planning this for since whenever. Planning for it because they know it's coming, but they don't want you to know. And Lucifer being on the earth is on his. I don't know whether he reincarnates maybe and is his final run, or whether there was no war in heaven. Him and a few were kicked out for rebelling, basically, or even thinking of it. Right. On that note, bear with me a second, folks. Okay, folks, right, Hebron, Gaza, subject matter, okay. It says my ID, okay. Right, you have to go to the Bible for this one, to the Old Testament. I think it's in the book of Psalms, which would be angels' maps, effectively, when it's uncoded. And it says David basically ruled from Hebron for 7 years and Jerusalem for 33. Now, you'll notice the 33 being the Masonic code because they know, obviously, I know what they know now due to being able to break this code or being shown how to break this code. Okay, so firstly, David is David Caradoc Atbran. They've removed the David and called him Caradoc Atbran, changed it to Caraticus and all sorts of nonsense. But he's the one that, so we know Jerusalem, 33 years. Firstly, 33 is the third letter of the, C is the third letter of the alphabet, so to translate it, you basically take CC. Okay, then you've got the secret C on Mon, which gives you secret C on Mon. So you've got the two secret C's on Mon. Add C to King Solomon's temple and C to King Solomon's key, and what it says is, so lock in Mon's temple, so lock in Mon's key. Well, Mon's key and temple, obviously the temple of Solomon, the real temple of Solomon, and the real key are the two forts. Okay. Now we need to know where Hebron. How do we work out Hebron? I knew there was this would connect at some point, and I've been waiting for it to happen. But it's so blooming easy when you realise. It's unbelievable. But okay, so in the same thing, what you have is 7 years in Hebron. So 7 is G. So all I'm going to do is add the G to Hebron, and then unscrabble it. Be on RGH. RGH is the safe zone. There's the one, there's the key, there's the lock. This is the map cancer overlay. So what you've got basically, be on RGH. Well, we know this is Jerusalem, where we rule for 33. We can tie all that. But this one is Clan Melin, which is so much code in it, it's unbelievable, which is also where the H is. And this is, again, the two pillars, and then you've got the Royal Arch, the G, and this is the H. So you've got the R, G, and H. In other words, it's the code, effectively the same code for the safe zone, the rendezvous, and the landing zone for the final sort of rapture, which is only, you know, not the rapture of the lying rapture of Revelations, which tells people that you know, that so many will go off, and then Jesus is going to come down and save the rest. Absolute twaddle. No, he's not coming. It's a complete and utter lie. But if you go to my code for Orion the Hunter says, "Oh, I return on H." And when you unscrabble the code in Job 999, it says, "Oh, something about I see truth return, so I return on H." And then it tells you to basically, please please show the HIDs or something. It's words to that effect. It's already in the previous 2 videos I've done, and absolutely no way can any. If this is all coincidence, folks, well, you tell me. Do you really believe that someone? I'm not even intending. I'm a security guard working now on a night shift, doing these videos by night, and in 3 weeks have just unscrabbled all this. Like I said, all I can tell you, folks, the Creator is real. Why I don't, well, obviously from what I gather, from what this code tells me, it not only on earth did I give up my business, my life and everything else at 50 when I got this calling. I can't explain it. I made a deal, too much to go into. I made a deal, do my Sabbaths every Saturday, give up everything, literally. I lost my business, not my family as such, because I still see my 2 daughters, my 2 little angels, who are also encoding the lock and key, but that's another story. But to keep them safe, and to, obviously at the time I had no comprehension that this was going to turn out the way it has. And like I say, I'm in a lucky position that I don't have to say things that would normally sound absolutely crazy. Literally, the prophecy and what I'm telling you and showing you is in black and white and links up in the most impossible way. All you need to do, folks, is do this, literally, and take my word for it. You know, again, I show this every time, but it's so important. When I prayed and I unlocked this, I basically held my head down, I put my sins on my palms. That's why there's an S in Psalms. I offer my sins up with genuine apology. You obviously really got to mean it. And this in turn unlocked my, it's upside down, so my mouth would be the key to the code, I suppose, speaking it. And unlock my temple, literally my temple and my brain temples. That's why I got temples on the sides. And obviously what it gave me in return was all the code I need to work out this safe zone, which is why the reflection is and then again you've got the R, working it backwards, you've got the river is the CNRV, then you've got the G and the G and the H, RGH again. But again, like I say, unlocked all Solomon's pillars, temple and everything else. But that's what you need to do, folks. I'm going to have to cut this video a bit shorter, but you know, I hope I'm proving to you that this, you know, that this is not me saying it. I want to say that, you know, it's as much as a shock to me as it is to anybody else. I thought, you know, but I was just a normal guy. I never believed in anything like this, and you know, it's fried my head all the way along. But obviously, like you can see, if a human being, any human being, can do what I've done in the space, all of it in the space of 3.5 maybe years, I think it is, from start to finish. And obviously it's this year really that has really taken off. This is the year of the safe zone, at least, of decoding it. I don't know whether it's going to happen this year with this Argus Navis coming in, but it's certainly going to happen at some point. And do I believe it? I have to believe it, because I can't figure out any way possible that. Well, number one, I know how this comes to me, and so on. But on top of giving it up on this earth as well, and I mean, I'm only going by the code because it clearly states on the deck line that Marco Angel go, you forget all. And I really do. I don't know anything. I have no memory of anything prior to this life. Everything I know is only through where I get shown this code. And it basically, it seems that I volunteered by the look of it and was to do this job and was sent as the Atlas Angel, a last angel, to break the matrix, and show you the code and warn you what is coming, how to get right, and basically to SOS a remnant. And that's coded too, even that. I could go on and on and on. On that note, Yah's blessings to you all, and get those hands up and get right with Yah. He's very, very real.